Why people defend their worst financial decisions. Most people don't repeat bad financial decisions because they don't recognize them. They repeat them because letting go feels worse than continuing. Think about the last time you knew something wasn't working. Not suspected, knew. The investment sitting at a loss you check every morning. The subscription you don't use but keep renewing. The lifestyle that requires every paycheck and then some. You saw it clearly. And then, what did you do? If you're honest, probably nothing. Or worse, you defended it. You told yourself a story. You told others a better one. You explained why it made sense, why it would turn around, why this time was different. Not because you believed it, but because admitting you were wrong felt impossible. This is one of the most powerful forces in personal finance, the thing that keeps smart people locked in bad situations for years. Not ignorance, not lack of information, defense. At some point, almost everyone realizes that a financial choice they made isn't working. The cryptocurrency that dropped 70%, but you're still holding because selling would make the loss real. The house that stretches your budget to breaking point, but you convinced everyone it was the right move. The business that's been bleeding money for 3 years, but next quarter will be different. The degree that cost 6 figures, but led nowhere near the career you imagined. The realization is there, sharp and clear. But instead of changing course, something else happens. The defense begins. People don't just defend bad financial decisions to others, they defend them to themselves. Every morning, in the shower, in the car, in the quiet moments before sleep. The same explanations, the same justifications, not because they're true, but because they're necessary. We like to believe that bad decisions are corrected once they're recognized, that logic takes over, that rationality wins. But money doesn't operate in a purely logical space. It operates in a psychological one. And in that space, being right matters less than feeling okay. The moment a decision becomes part of your identity, letting go stops being a financial choice. It becomes an emotional one. When people defend bad financial decisions, they're not defending the numbers, they're defending themselves. At the center of this behavior is something called cognitive dissonance. It's the mental discomfort that appears when reality conflicts with how we see ourselves. Most people see themselves as rational, careful, responsible. A bad financial outcome challenges that self-image directly. So instead of changing behavior, the mind changes the story. The investment didn't fail because you got swept up in hype and ignored every warning sign. It failed because the market was manipulated. The debt isn't a problem caused by spending beyond your means. It's temporary, it's strategic, it's an investment in your future. The lifestyle that drains your account every month isn't reckless, it's what you deserve after working hard. These explanations don't eliminate the problem, they make it livable. Cognitive dissonance doesn't push people toward better decisions, it pushes them toward psychological comfort, and comfort often means staying exactly where they are. Here's what makes this dangerous. The better you are at explaining yourself, the longer you stay stuck. Intelligent people are often the worst at this. They can construct elaborate justifications. They can find supporting evidence for almost anything. They can out-argue anyone who questions them, including themselves. Your parents warned you, your partner doubted, but you had answers. You always have answers. The problem isn't that you can't think, it's that you think too well in the wrong direction. Every defense you build makes the next one easier. Every explanation you repeat becomes more believable, not because it's true, but because you've said it so many times it feels true. This is how people spend years, sometimes decades, defending decisions they knew were wrong from the beginning. Another powerful force is sunk cost. Once time, money, or effort has been invested, walking away feels like loss. Not just financial loss, personal loss. You put 3 years into that business. You spent $50,000 on that certification. You convinced your family this was the right path.
Admitting it didn't work means admitting that the effort was wasted, that the sacrifice didn't pay off, that the confidence was misplaced, that everyone who doubted you might have been right. So people double down. They stay longer, they invest more, they commit harder. Not because the decision improved, but because leaving would force them to confront everything they've already lost. Sunk cost turns previous effort into a trap. The more someone has invested, the harder it becomes to leave, and the longer they stay, the more painful leaving feels. This creates a cycle. Every month you stay makes next month harder to leave. Every payment deepens the commitment. Every conversation where you defended the choice makes admitting the truth more humiliating. This is why people defend decisions that are actively hurting them. The cost of change feels higher than the cost of continuation, even when continuation is slowly destroying them. You know people like this. Maybe you are someone like this. Still holding an investment that's been underwater for years because selling would mean accepting the loss? Still paying for the gym membership, the streaming services, the subscriptions you signed up for in a different life? Still funding a lifestyle you can't afford because downgrading would mean admitting you couldn't sustain what you built? The money keeps leaving, the situation keeps deteriorating, but the defense continues because the alternative is facing everything you've already lost. Identity makes this even harder. Financial choices don't exist in isolation. They become stories. Stories about who you are. Someone who makes smart investments. Someone who's independent and doesn't need help. Someone who's successful and has it figured out. Someone who's different from all those other people who fail. When a financial decision becomes part of that story, changing it feels like rewriting who you are. A person who prides themselves on being financially savvy doesn't want to admit they got caught in a bubble. A person who values independence doesn't want to admit they need to move back home or ask for help. A person who built their lifestyle around a certain image doesn't want to question whether it's sustainable. So instead of adjusting behavior, they defend it, publicly and privately. They explain it to others with confidence. They repeat it to themselves with conviction. And over time, the defense becomes automatic. You stop noticing you're doing it. The explanation becomes reflexive. Someone asks how the investment is going. The answer comes out before you even think. It's fine. It's long-term. It's about to turn around. You've said it so many times you don't even hear yourself anymore. But here's the thing about identity. It's not fixed. People think it is, but it's not. You can be someone who made a bad investment and learned from it. You can be someone who tried something that didn't work and moved on. You can be someone who was wrong and changed their mind. But that requires letting go of the story you've been telling yourself. And most people would rather defend a failing story than write a new one. Because a failing story you control feels safer than an uncertain truth you don't. Another layer is social reinforcement. Few financial decisions are made in isolation. People talk, they compare, they seek validation. When someone voices doubt about a financial choice, the response they receive often determines what happens next. Supportive environments allow reflection, but many environments reward certainty. Friends reassure you. They don't want to see you hurt, so they agree with your explanations. Online communities reinforce beliefs. Everyone there made the same choice. Everyone's holding. Everyone believes. Social media amplifies confidence, not nuance. You post about your investment, your business, your lifestyle. People like it, they comment, they encourage. Nobody sees the doubt you feel at 3 in the morning. They see the confident version you present. And that confident version becomes harder to abandon because other people believe in it. When people find others who made similar decisions, doubt disappears. Not because the decision was correct, but because it was shared. Shared beliefs feel safer than solitary honesty. This is how bad financial ideas survive for years. Not through evidence, through repetition, through community, through mutual defense. Everyone holding the same losing investment, telling each other it's going to recover. Everyone living the same unsustainable lifestyle, telling each other they've earned it. Everyone running the same failing business model, telling each other to just keep pushing. The group becomes an echo chamber, and in that chamber, reality stops mattering. What matters is consensus, and consensus says you're right, even when you're not. There is also fear of regret. Changing course forces a painful question. What if I had done this earlier? That question destroys people. It exposes lost time, missed opportunities, avoidable damage. What if you had sold that investment 2 years ago when you first had doubts? What if you had adjusted your lifestyle before the debt became unmanageable? What if you had listened to the people who warned you? Those questions don't lead to peace. They lead to rage. Rage at yourself for not acting sooner. So people avoid them. They continue forward even when forward is clearly the wrong direction, because regret feels heavier than persistence. Defending a bad decision protects against that regret. It keeps the past intact. It tells you you couldn't have known, that you made the best choice with the information you had, that anyone